Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news, and this should be a really fun week. Yeah, that delayed PlayStation 5 event looks like it has a new date for this week, and hopefully nothing happens this time to delay it yet again. But there are already a few big games that looks like they will be showing up at this PlayStation 5 event, so stay tuned for that and I will give you all of the latest information on the PlayStation 5 event for this week. Also, we have another big event this week as well that includes some interesting publishers, so don't go anywhere just yet because we will talk about that as well. But before we go over all that, let's go over some of the quick news first. And first up, let's talk about Minecraft Dungeons, which has really turned out to be a big hit for Xbox Game Studios. Not only has it been performing incredibly well on Xbox Game Pass, but it also dethroned Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the Microsoft Store, which is already impressive in its own right. But it doesn't stop there either because it has also overtaken Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Nintendo eShop. And we all know how successful Animal Crossing has been since it first launched. It's literally been the #1 selling game for months now, but let's look at this from a different perspective though, because Xenoblade Definitive Edition just released as well, which is a high-profile Nintendo release, and Minecraft Dungeons is outselling that on the eShop as well. That right there's the thing though. Minecraft, of course, is a huge IP, there's no doubt about that. I mean, it has sold more than 200 million copies worldwide, but Minecraft Dungeons seems to be traveling through word of mouth. It didn't just launch as the #1 game, but eventually catapulted its way there. And that's probably because Minecraft Dungeons is a very fun game, especially when it comes to cooperative gameplay. It's a game that the entire family can enjoy with its addictive gameplay and charming world. I myself have been playing this game a lot with my family, and we always have a blast playing it. I think we have probably already played around 15 to 20 hours with plenty more to do. Xbox Game Studios definitely did a good job with this game, and that's not even including the future expansions for Minecraft Dungeons. I've said it before, but I really think critics did this game a disservice when it came to the reviews, and now gamers are voting with their wallets and time. In my honest opinion, I think Minecraft Dungeons is one of the best cooperative games on the market, and I would highly recommend it if you haven't tried it already. And speaking of Xbox Game Studios, apparently Sea of Thieves has also had a really good launch over on Steam with more than 41,000 concurrent players. That would place Sea of Thieves as one of the most played games on Steam right now, and I think it was in the top 10 at one point in time. Considering that Sea of Thieves is in Xbox Game Pass for PC as well as console, that is incredible that there was that many people on Steam that decided to purchase Sea of Thieves as well. That's the thing about Sea of Thieves though, it has been one of the most successful new IP this generation. It consistently is one of the most played Xbox Game Pass games, and back in January, Sea of Thieves passed more than 10 million players. So this just continues that success for Sea of Thieves, and big congrats to Rare on their success. Moving on though, we got our first big bit of information on Bungie's next big game. Of course, they have had a ton of success with Destiny, but as we all know, Bungie did split up with Activision Blizzard. Since then, they got a big investment by NetEase worth $100 million, which was supposed to help Bungie explore new opportunities. Since 2018 though, we haven't really heard much about what these new opportunities would be, or at least until a pair of new job listings came out, which details their next game. Unsurprisingly, whatever their next game will be, will have loot in it once again much like Destiny, and will be an RPG, but something else that's really interesting is that it will include comedic and whimsical characters. They're also trying to design the characters in a way that will inspire cosplays and how character poses and environments speak to different cultures in the world. What exactly does that mean though? I would say it's probably emote related. As we have seen with Fortnite, kids today love these crazy emotes, or at least dances anyway, so it seems Bungie will try to do something like that, or more or less another Destiny type game. I mean, Destiny did do this in the past. We do know that Bungie wants to be a multi-franchise entertainment company though, so I will be curious to see what they do with this comedic RPG with loot. I fear it will be too similar to Destiny myself, or maybe even something like Borderlands. From the sounds of it, Destiny 2 will continue to live on for quite a while longer, and they have more expansions planned, So if this second game does end up being another looter, hopefully it will be a lot different than Destiny. From what I was reading, it doesn't really sound like they have a confirmed genre yet. It just says RPG, which could mean a number of different things. It may not actually be a first-person shooter this time, and that would be interesting because that is Bungie's bread and butter. Both Halo as well as Destiny excelled with their first-person shooting, so could they end up taking on a whole new genre, or will they stick with the first-person shooter genre yet again? What do you think? Does any of this excite you at all, or do you wish Bungie would go away from this looter stuff going forward? Let me know in the comments below. And now onto the bigger stuff, let's talk about PlayStation 5 because we got some big stuff to talk about. Yes, the PlayStation 5 event was delayed last week, but not for too long because the new date has been posted today. It apparently was being advertised on Twitch, and I think it went up a little too early as Sony kind of lagged behind announcing this, but it has been confirmed the new date will be June 11th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time or 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So let's go! This is finally going to happen barring any more delays. Let's hope not. That's not all though, because we already have some major hints as to what will show up at this event. Now, none of this is confirmed just yet, but one rumor going forward is that there will be a Bloodborne remaster at the PlayStation 5 event, which is interesting for several different reasons. It will be available on PC and PlayStation 5 running 60 frames per second and 4K resolution according to the leaks. This leak though, it almost seems as if it's a team effort. So it all seems to have started with a user by the name of Slothborn who claims that Bloodborne will be heading over to the PC and was going to be announced at the PlayStation 5 event. This has since been echoed by Nibble and Wario64 that it will be heading over to the PC, or at least they are strongly hinting that is the case. Both Nibble and Wario64 of course are very reputable, so that's a good sign this will actually happen. And there are several other insiders in the community that are echoing a PC port as well, though I do find it interesting that this is going to be announced at the PlayStation 5 event if all this is actually true. And that is one thing that these insiders are saying, that it will be announced for the PlayStation 5 as well. The PC port of Bloodborne alone is a big announcement that will get a lot of people excited. The Dark Souls games are big among PC fans, so I'm sure a lot of people will buy into Bloodborne if this happens, but what I wonder is about this PlayStation 5 announcement for Bloodborne. What I'm hoping is that Sony will just announce backwards compatibility for Bloodborne, and that it will automatically have a big bump in frame rate and resolution, similar to what Xbox does with their backwards compatibility program. You don't actually have to spend any extra money to get better frame rate or resolution on the Xbox Series X. Sony though hasn't really talked much about how the PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility works, so I'm hoping it's similar to the Xbox Series X because I'm hoping we can do away with simple remasters where it's just a bump in resolution and frame rate. I really like remakes of games because the visuals are so much different and they're usually really old games that actually needs a remake, but when it comes to a remaster, I'm a little bit more selective on those type of games. So let's hope that this is some kind of backwards compatible announcement, but I will ask you, if they do announce Bloodborne as a remaster for the PlayStation 5, would you rebuy it again if you already own it? Let me know in the comments below. Nonetheless though, the PC Bloodborne announcement, that would be really cool, and I know I've talked about this in the past, but I do expect Sony to release more PlayStation games on the PC in the future. We are going to see that more and more as time goes on. We have seen Detroit Become Human, Beyond Two Souls, Horizon Zero Dawn, Death Stranding, and possibly now Bloodborne as well, coming over to the PC, and these have all been announced in like the last 12 months or something like that. I like this strategy a lot from Sony. It allows more players to play their games, which gives Sony more money, and it's just beneficial for everybody all the way around. I don't expect them to emulate the Microsoft strategy with releasing games day and date with the Xbox console and PC, but even if PlayStation ports games like a year later or something like that, I think that's a good deal for everybody. That's just my opinion, but that's honestly what I think. Now, as for this other big game that may be announced at the PlayStation 5 event, there was a new Gran Turismo trademark filed on June 3rd, one day before the original event was planned. And this is right after the fact Next Level Racing, a third-party company, may have let it slip that Gran Turismo 7 would be releasing sometime this year. they played it off as some kind of mistake, but I don't know about all that. I mean, it's possible it was a mistake, but it's now looking like Sony really is about to announce the next Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is a huge franchise for PlayStation, and back on the PlayStation 2, which was their most successful console, Gran Turismo 3 and 4 both sold well over 10 million copies. One reason for that is because Gran Turismo is absolutely huge over in Europe. So if the PlayStation 5 launched side by side with the next big Gran Turismo game, that would be a system seller right out of the gate for PlayStation. I mean, I imagine the PlayStation 5 will sell out regardless, but we need some fun games to play at launch, and a new Gran Turismo would certainly be one of those games. There's still also that rumor that a Demon's Souls remake is in development, so if all of that is true, we will possibly be hearing about a new Gran Turismo, a Bloodborne remaster, and a Demon's Souls remake this Thursday. I certainly hope all this is true, and that would make for a really good event, but I will ask you, is any of these games good enough to get you to buy the PlayStation 5 when it launches? Let me know in the comments below. And now onto our last topic of the day, there will be another big event for this week, the PC gaming event on June 13th. Now this event will have over 50 games shown by several developers across the industry, so you should expect to see a lot announced here. The one thing about the PC gaming event is that they don't usually have a lot of big games shown there, but if you look at some of the publishers this year, there are some really interesting ones here, including Xseed, Sega, Don't Nod, and Atlus. Now Atlus is really the one I think a lot of people are surprised by, because Atlus is kind of strange about how they release their games. A lot of the times they will just release a game exclusively on one platform, whether it makes sense or not, but fans have really been wanting Persona games to come to other platforms. And really, it's not just Persona 5 that fans want, but the entire franchise. And of course, Atlus was sending out a survey earlier this year about bringing those games to other platforms, so maybe they could announce one here. Probably not. I'm probably being a little too hopeful here. I mean, as I said, Atlus doesn't always do what makes sense, and even though they could sell a lot of games on PC, that doesn't necessarily mean that Atlus will do it. I could also see them announcing something like Catherine's Full Body though, which is an excellent game in its own right, but either way, definitely mark your calendars for June 13th. We might get some good games announced there. Anyways though, that's it for this video, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Peace out.